Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Monday, the 27th of July. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. I had a flat tire. Flat tires are odd. I had a flat tire, but got it fixed up. You know, it's just kind of a thing. We went to breakfast and had a flat tire and it was crazy. So, yeah, other than that, it was a great weekend. And you guys, did you have a good weekend? I hope you did. I hope you all made it. And hey, thank you to Ian Davenport for the 10 Australian dollars of support for the channel. Much appreciated. Thank you. I want to introduce my new co-host this morning. I stalled as long as I could. I was trying to stall. So here he is. Oz. Good morning, Oz. Austin Mills, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's nice to have you. You were actually first on the list. We had me and the wife visited. I've got I had a couple of slots open. We filled them now. We've got holes for everybody. Now this is Daniel Fisk Bennett was the co-host for Monday, and his job. You know how most people's jobs now that the cooties are kind of things are changing, so he had to go back to work and was not able to co-host anymore. But we're still going to work on some science stuff because he's really got some interesting science things about comets and whatnot. I also like doing the science news with Steve. Steve DeMarco. I like to get some of his stuff, so I'm going to work with them and start getting more of their stuff together too. So just because he's not here co-hosting in the morning doesn't mean Daniel Fisk isn't with us in spirit. He just had to work. So, yeah, so his work took over. So thank you to him for all he's helped us with. Good morning to everybody in the chat real quick. Derek Cruz, good morning. The Blazing Wizard Pope. Nice to have you with us, Christian. I hope you had a good weekend. Amy Hogan, I hope I said that right. Good morning, Amy. Nice to have you. It's nice to see you. I've seen you around. It's been a day or three. And best name ever, Kristen. Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend. Hope you all had a good weekend. Grumpy old dude. I'm going to have him on the show either this Friday or maybe next Friday. I'm not sure. Yeah, so beautiful antlers. Oh, I have antlers. I didn't realize that. I left my my batleth out from Sci-Fi Saturday. So that's cool. I didn't realize. Wow, thank you for that. I get it. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Also, I want to take a moment before we get into Oz. I want to ask Oz some questions. It's his first day being a co-host on the show. We want to get more familiar with him and go with some stuff, especially talk about that tart stuff. He's got some tart stuff going on over there. It's lots of fun. But first, I want to say hi to everybody on Facebook and Twitch. We have a viewer or two on Twitch when Twitch works, but we've got lots of viewers on Facebook. I want to say hello to all of you people. Thank you. Number one fan. That's what the sticker says. It's a sticker. See, I missed the sticker. Thank you for that, Ian Davenport. Yeah. But I want to say hello to everybody on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. You guys are all wonderful. I've got my Facebook on the Daily Atheist Morning Show page is open, and I try to interact with people over there, or you can go to the YouTube channel and watch us over on YouTube. So got all that out of the way. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. It's nice to have you. I hope you all had a wonderful and safe weekend. So, Oz, man, I'm excited to have you. Good morning.
Morning.
Do you want to take a moment to tell us about Tart and what you got going on over there?
Yeah, I love talking tart. So we had Justin and Bryce on last night from the Empathetic Atheist Show, and I had a good time.
Okay.
Had a good time with them, and they're doing some things over there too. But as far as what's going on with Tart tonight, if there's ever an episode that you want to watch, if you haven't caught one of our shows yet tonight, it's probably going to be the night at 9:30 p.m. We're having Mark of Legend with us, and first thing I want to say is Mark is a great guy, and we've had many conversations with Mark. But he has a very unique, religious or worldview. He claims that he is the second coming of the Messiah and the eighth reincarnation of Buddha, kind of all wrapped in one. It does sound outlandish, okay, but I'll tell you, once you hear Mark talk, he's a great guy. He just has a very unique view on deities and religion and spirituality. So that's going on. But we're just continuing to try to get better. The whole point of Tart is to sit down with theists and have a good conversation about what they believe and why they believe it. And so far, we've had a great response from both the atheist and the theist community as far as how we conduct the process, the format, and how we treat our guests. So.
We have a question from JJ Del Angel in the chat. Is that Eastern or Central time? What time was it again? I missed it. I'm sorry. I was driving the show.
So there's going to be. So let me rewind a little bit so everybody's clear. So at 9 p.m. Eastern time, there's going to be about a 20 or 30 minute kind of interview that we did with Mark last week. That's pre-recorded. Okay. And then at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, we go live with Mark, myself, and Geniuspipe.
Gotcha. Okay. Absolutely. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've been on your show. I was on your show once. Yep. It was a hoot. Matter of fact, I need to get with, I think we're going to have Carl possibly call in on the show. Yeah, one of these days, Carl is trouble. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I was on the Atheist Round Table. It's a lot of fun. It's more it's not as static as this. They'll be talking here and then they'll switch over to Slaughter Shed Steve. Have I got that right, Austin?
Murder Shed Steve.
Slaughter Shed Steve. Murder Shed Steve. And he'll do a little bit over there and then they'll move back to here and they'll talk to their guests and they'll do this other thing. They sing, they dance, they slice, they dice, they make julienne french fries. It is a lot of fun. And one of the features they have is well, he's a bit of a troublemaker, I think. He's just one of those bad seeds. His name is Carl and he calls into the show. And, we've been considering possibly having Carl call into this show. And me and Pasta Mike have been, because Pasta Mike, he's Carl's buddy and was going to help me with the tech possibly to make that happen. That may happen to you one of these days, Oz. We may be sitting here and all of a sudden get a call in. So I'll let you know the same link I sent you is the same link that Carl can use if he wants to call in. I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm always prepared for Carl. I'm always prepared.
Because you guys are a lot of fun. That was one of the things I wanted to do. You're always prepared for Carl. I was not prepared. For those of you who don't know, I went over and I did a show and these guys are one of the main reasons why I've decided to start doing more research before I say yes to being on a show. No, it was a lot of fun. I say that because I was just expecting the normal 2 or 3 panel thing where we get up and we talk and how are you and that was kind of what I was not expecting. Murder Shed Steve and all the switch ups and change ups. It was a lot of fun. How long have you guys been doing this?
Oh man, I think, well, if we rewind, we've all been talking about doing this for a while now. But I believe we went live for the first time on YouTube, either the latter part of March or early April. It was our first live stream and we all met via TikTok and really have grown, great relationships, friendships, and Pasta and I have, really from day one, kind of had that instant click, kind of that brotherhood, thing, and totally ran with it, and yeah, here we are today, and we got Pasta, myself, Geniuspipe, Murder Shed Steve, and then just Jeff, and we all together kind of make this thing go.
Yeah. I have not seen enough of it to give you credit. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I've seen some morning shows that had people call in, comedians or something on the regular who did bits and skits and stuff. And I've always wanted to do that. And whenever I saw you guys doing it on that show, I was like, yes, this is wonderful. I just don't. So if you guys are not subscribed, I don't mean to keep going on about them, but if you are not subscribed to the Atheist Round Table, I've got links below for Oz and his ilk. Go over there, check them out, watch some of their shows. Now, they're not all like that. It's my understanding they have more serious shows. Isn't that the way you do the interviews and they ask questions? Now, I've volunteered. I am not against being on one of those shows and answering those questions as to the why, the who, the what, the where, and how, Yep. So whenever. But that's kind of, you want to tell us about that show? Is that it?
Yeah. So
what's up with that?
So when atheists are on, skeptics are on, we do take a little more of a satirical, format where we have a little more fun, and it's I guess less interviewey and more just us getting to know each other, having fun, and then Murder Shed Steve comes in and just Jeff comes in. It's a little more playful. But when we have a theist on, we still have those segments. We still have fun with it to kind of break up any type of tension or anything that might build through some of those serious conversations. But we do we're a little more focused on the what, the how, and the why. So really what those 3 segments look like, to briefly break them down, is, what's your story? What do you believe in? How did you arrive to that current destination? And then why do you believe what you believe? So, when you get into a why on why somebody believes what they believe, and I'll speak for Christians, being a former Christian, is that, a lot of times their emotional identity is tied up in that religion or in that belief. So it can get intense, it can get heated, it can get passionate. So we try to, dig in there, but also make it comfortable for everybody. So, people still feel welcome, but still be able to have those very intense conversations at the same time.
Yeah. So it's not always the Gong Show.
No.
No. I tuned in an ungodly hour. That's right. That's when the Daily Atheist starts. It's an ungodly hour. Good morning, Cassandra Jones. Thank you for joining us and being able to catch the show. We've got apparently, Phil is kind of giving us a little bit of a rundown on how many people are watching on the various channels, and we do have a lot of people on Facebook. So I hate to forget you guys out on Facebook. I watch on the Morning Show Facebook page, and I can chat with you there if you want to go over, or try to chat with you and try to keep up with you. So good morning, everybody on Facebook. A grumpy old dude made a post. He made a comment that he's an early bird, I guess, too, like myself. It'd be a late night for him to get on a 9 p.m. show. That's kind of like me, though, asking these people over on the East Coast, hey, do you want to come on the morning show? 6 o'clock in the morning. When I first started the morning show, it's 5 o'clock in the a.m. for people, and that was rough for West Coasters. So, excuse me. So, one of the things we need to do is we need to get Pasta Mike, and I see him in the chat. I keep threatening to get him on the show. We need to get him on the show, as a guest, without Carl.
Yep.
I know it's crazy.
I'm sure the day will come.
You think so?
He's a man of mystery.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, I want to ask you about you now. If you'll refresh our memory, so that's how long you've been doing On with the Tart. Do you want to tell us, Oz, about how long you've been doing the atheist thing? What you were to begin with? What kind of, and then at what point did you do the thing at the place? Good morning, Justin. Nice to have you watching.
Yep. The thing at the place. Yeah, we can get to that. I grew up, was literally born straight into Christianity and religion. My mom was a music pastor for 20 plus years. And my earliest memories are church and baseball. If I wasn't at church, I was on a baseball diamond. That's all I remember as a young boy. Mm. And then my teenage years, when I was like I want to say 14, my parents divorced, and it was about that time that I turned into a young, early teen knucklehead, and went out and thought I was a little badass, and started partying and selling drugs and acting a fool. And then when I was about 21, it would have been 2002, 2003, something like that, I got in a car accident, drunk driving car accident, and I died twice, and they had to resuscitate me. And when that happened, of course, family, friends, come running to the, to the ICU and telling me that the only reason I'm still here is because of God. And the only purpose that I have left is, or the only reason that I still have purpose, I'm still left on this earth, is because God wanted to save my life. So when I finally came to, I was in ICU in the hospital for a total of about 3 weeks. I want to say 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And when I came to, I was like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe it was this God thing. So then I jumped back into church, and I really did. I was like, maybe this is it. And maybe the reason I'm alive is because I have a purpose on this earth for God. So I jumped 2 feet in, did that for a good part of another 12 years, and was essentially in ministry with my brother, which is a pastor here in the city I live in. And one day I was not playing drums and I was not leading. I happened to have a service off, and they're playing the music, and as Chris would say, doing the thing. And I started listening to the words of the songs, and then my brother got up and started the message, and all of a sudden all these words and these stories started hitting me kind of all at once. And I was like, hold on a minute. Like literally in that moment, I've never actually read this book without the leading or the framework put in front of me from a pastor, guest pastor, prophet, evangelist, whatever. I've never read it for myself. I've always just read it in context of what they wanted me to hear, and how they wanted me to hear it. So literally that day I went home and I told my brain, okay, we're going to read this as if we just went to a library and rented a book. We're not going to read it with all these other precursors and, forethought conclusions that have been attached to this book. And Chris, I couldn't even get through freaking Genesis without
really
stopping and like, hold on, I've believed this for 30 something years. What is going on right now? So the New Testament was tough to get through, and not be frustrated with myself that I hadn't already done this earlier in my life. So that happened. It was a process. I went from that to a brief. I thought it was okay, maybe I'm agnostic. Maybe it's not the Christian God, but maybe there is a God out there. Then the more research I did, the more studying I did. I remember sitting on my couch in my apartment, and it hit me. Again, just doing some reading, I was like, I'm an atheist. Like, I have no reason to believe this. I have no good evidence to suggest that any of this is real. And until I have that evidence, I'm an atheist. And that's the short, kind of the abbreviated version, but that's how I got there.
Gotcha. There are a lot of people out there who have distinct, this is when it hit me moments. And some of us, not so much. I don't remember a distinct that moment. For me, it was like a lot of little nudges that way. And I had a moment with the Bible experience where I was like, look at this. In this Bible, it says, oh, it's all soft and fuzzy. They just asked the people to leave. In this Bible, it says, murder, death, kill. They slaughtered every man, woman, and child. And I was like, what the hell? I had moments like that. But there were many of them that got me to being the atheist. It sounds like there was a singular point that you can actually drill down to. What was the reaction of your family? Your brother's given the message that turned you. Have you pointed that out? We lost you.
Sorry, it was and it continues to be interesting with family and friends because they're the ones that are, I guess, understanding, and they think it's a phase, and and I can for the most part tolerate those because they don't say a lot, but there's the others that it's they're still stuck in that, well, you've turned your back on God, you're going to go to hell. And especially now that I've become very vocal and I'm not afraid, whether it's on TARP pages or even my personal social media pages, to be outspoken against religion as an organization and what it does to us in our society. Now I'm just doing the devil's work, and I'm one of Satan's children, and I'm out here doing the dirty work, the dirty work of Satan himself. And I'm, the reason I wear a hat is because I'm actually growing horns, and people don't realize that. So,
but no, mine's lower. Sorry,
but it's no, you're good. And I joke around with that because I do get accused, of that all the time from people in, my quote unquote past life, is that now I've just been lied to by the devil, and that's what I'm doing. And unfortunately, Chris, what I found out is, whether it was, family, like blood family, or people I considered family, close friends, when I walked away from the church and when I walked away from faith, I found that my life was actually very, very empty. What I thought was a full life, what I thought was a happy life, was actually a very, very empty life, because once I removed religion and once I moved faith and God out of it, I had nothing. I didn't have, not only did I not have a relationship with this God, but all these people that called me friend weren't my friends. They were relationships of convenience. I held a position of leadership within the church. I had influence. So they wanted that relationship because it was convenient, because they thought they were getting something out of me. But once I didn't have that, it's what was my worth, what was my value, and all those people, it dissipated. It was gone. So, unfortunately, that part was lonely. That part was, I went through, some depression and things like that, but I am now better for it today. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life with my fiance and our kids and what we're doing with TART. So, Yeah, I love being an atheist now.
Well, refresh my memory. What denomination was that you? I know you said Christian, but
Yeah.
if you said the denomination, I forgot. I'm a bad man.
No, this time I didn't, and usually I'm pretty good about doing that. So my apologies. My brother and I grew up very radical, extreme evangelical, like the Rod Parsley, Kenneth Copeland, Benny Hinn shit. Like that's how we grew up.
I see. Oh, yes, that's unfortunate. So, because of that, did you have a small family-like church that you were really tight with? And if so, what was their reaction? Did they ostracize you? Are they still ostracizing you? I didn't let you answer the first question. How long ago was that? No, that wasn't the first question. I'm sorry. What denomination? You answered that. How long ago was it?
Roughly about 3 years ago now.
3 years ago now. And did they ostracize you from the church immediately, or how'd that work for you?
Yeah, I don't know that I would use the word ostracize, but I'm deaf, because if I come around and they still give me the cheap generic welcome, where it's like, it's cool for you to be here, but it's not. It's friendly and cordial, but it's not like it's not genuine. It's not a hey, we really care about you. We know you're part of you're part of the bad side. You're the enemy. So it's a weird dynamic, and I think part of the reason they're even cordial is because my brother's the pastor, and they know him and I, even though we have violently different views. We still have a great relationship. My brother and I talk all the time, and we have these tough conversations all the time. So I think part of it is they see the dynamic of his and I's relationship. So like, okay, because his brother has a great relationship with him, we'll respect it. But if it wasn't for him, fuck that guy.
Okay. That's what an interesting story to have a brother that's so into that. Have you, after 3 years, you haven't moved him. Hey, he hasn't moved you. You know what? I think we may be getting a call here shortly in just a minute, but let me just finish this question while I prepare mentally for the call.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. Let me just back up. You and your brother, 3 years it took, and you didn't, you haven't swayed, either one of you haven't swayed each other.
I will say, I know I have caused him to think in ways that no one has challenged him to think so far, because he has, and again, I love him, and he listens to all this stuff. So if he's listening right now, he knows I'm being brutally honest right now. I have challenged him in ways that nobody else in his life has challenged him, because nobody has the kahunas to go tit for tat with him and challenge him right where he's at in his beliefs. And there's been several times where all he can do is sit there and look at me and shake his head, because there was no wiggling around it. And I've forced him to have to go dig down to the why. Why do I believe what I believe in? So can I say one of us have swayed the other? Nope. But I definitely have challenged him and his worldview. That's for sure.
Understood. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, we're going to try this. I have, for the first time, we've got our caller. It's Carl. Carl is calling. He is on the phone. You won't be able to see him, but you'll be able to hear him. Carl, can you hear us?
Hey, how y'all doing? Good morning.
Good morning,
Carl.
That's Chris. I can hear Chris, right? It's Chris.
Yeah,
hey,
the Amazing Super Chris.
Hey, man, I'm such a big fan. I watch with all my Christian friends, man. We watch you, man. We think y'all the shit.
See, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. And it's so nice that you got a Christian on today, too. That Christian boy.
He's a good Christian child. Do you have questions for our guest this morning?
Yeah. Do you mind? Do you mind if I step in?
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
I'm still getting my breakfast. Hold on. I'm still drinking my breakfast.
Understood. Understood. Yeah.
Oh, this some natty light. That's some natty light.
If it's cold, it might hurt that one broke off tooth there in the front. Just be careful. Man,
that's some good dental work right there. Hey, excuse me. Is it Christian on the line right there? That Christian looking boy? The one God must love him.
I think he's single. If you're down,
he's single.
No,
he got a V-neck on him. Got a deep V. What is V?
Carl, last time you're on, we spoke privately about putting them fake teeth in before you come on.
No, that's blasphemous and where I'm from, and that's rude too. We're live. We're live right now.
That's right.
Can I shush? Can I shush? I'll ask Chris if I can shush you live on air right now.
Would you please?
Yeah,
we don't have to. Please shush him. We don't take that kind of Christian nonsense on this show, Carl.
No,
shush him.
Sir. No, sir. Have some respect for Chris. Look at you, New York Yankees over there. Your space headphones. What kind of headphones are those? Goddamn space headphones.
Carl, you're wasting everybody's time. What'd you call for? What'd you call for?
Question, Carl?
What'd you call for? You're wasting my time.
I wanted to try some of that epistemology on you. Can I try? Don't you laugh. That's rude. That is so rude in my face. Okay, look. How did you come to know that you're wearing briefs? I want to know.
You have no evidence I'm wearing briefs.
That's true. That is true. And for all we know, you could be stark naked.
He could rubbing junk against that seat. That's just nasty.
From the hips down. But listen, but your brother. To be fair, I'm gonna tell the truth. Can I preach to y'all for a minute? Can I
preach?
Can I reach through here and walk with me, y'all? Walk with me for a minute. Your brother called me Austin. I'm gonna call him by your full name, Austin Leslie Bernard Mills. Listen, your brother called me. He called me. He did. Chris, you stop. You stop being sassy, Chris. Don't you be
I can't
sassy.
help myself. It's the smell.
Austin, Chris looks so much better looking backstage, y'all. He is good looking. Chris is hey, Austin, listen to me, y'all. Your brother told me, hey, quit rambling on air. You're going on, you're like a stuck record talking about atheism this. And I used to be this, and I took my God goggles off with this. You are still half a Christian. I know goddamn right now. You said grace before you ate breakfast, didn't you, boy? Nourishing my body. The food nourishes my body.
Carl, you've been talking for 10 minutes. I'm waiting for you to make a damn point.
There you go.
Look, I'm just here to tell everybody that you're just a blasphemous liar. That's it. I'm pointing at somebody. I don't know who I'm
suspected. It's in his bio.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, didn't we? Did I forget to put it in the bio? I thought I put it in the bio.
Yeah, that's it. Who came up with tart? Anyway,
yeah, I'm not. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Sandra, give me that pancakes.
Anyway, she knows what she's doing. Exodus 21. She knows. I tell her. I'll sell her ass again.
You can sell her again. Hey, remember, you can't hit her with a rod that's thicker than your thumb.
Is
right? Am I wrong? Is it a thumb? That's why it's the rule of thumb. I thought you couldn't hit them with.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. But all I know is 6 years goes too fast, man.
I hear you. All right, brother. I'm gonna get back. Thank you for calling in, amazing Carl. I'm gonna get back to introducing my new co-host this morning, Austin. Thank you for calling in. It was our first time having Carl, the amazing Super Carl, call in. He's some kind of toothless Christian. I didn't say that. Did I say that? I'm sorry.
He's toothless. He's toothless.
Shut up, Austin. Love you, Chris.
Thank you. I will see you later. All right, that was amazing. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, if you go over and watch the Tart Show, they are all full of this kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun to go enjoy them. They've got Carl calls in, Pasta Mike, there's Murder Shed Steve, and Jeff. What's Jeff's name, brother? I forgot Jeff's.
It's just Jeff.
Oh, it's just Jeff. Just Jeff, yes, if I remember. Yeah, just Jeff. So I need to get Jeff on the show. I've never had Jeff on the show. Maybe I might know a guy who knows Jeff who can get him on the show for me.
We might know somebody.
You might know somebody? Awesome. Yeah. So that kind of thing goes on a long time. The first time I ever met Carl was over on my first engagement with the with the Atheist Round Table. I was sitting there. I had no idea. Remember, I told you guys I had no idea this was going on. Then they had Carl call in, and it was a lot of fun. Very unexpected fun. So thank you all. Thank you to Carl and for joining us is amazing.
And Chris, just so you know, your episode was the first appearance of Carl.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, that's great. Like I said, somebody actually said something about it reminding them of a morning show, And that was kind of original. It's a morning show, Daily Atheist Morning Show. But I do get that's one of their things over there. I can't steal that from them, but I like it. I think it's fun. That's what I want to have. I want to have a fun, entertaining morning show. I don't want to be all serious and just ranting on Christians all the time. Christians bad. Me, Grog, hate Christians. We got that. They do that. There's lots of channels do that. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Thank you to Carl and Pasta Mike for hooking us up with Carl. So that was amazing and wonderful.
Absolutely.
So I did have more. We were talking about earlier before this happened about the reaction from your church and your family to you leaving. And now, do you know that your brother ever watches the show, or?
Oh, he not only does he watch, he's actually been on. I think it's 2 of our after shows that he's come on, and one of them was we had Rob Yannock on, which I've known for about 20 years, have been friends of our family, and he's traveled. He's traveled the globe as a pastor and motivational speaker and author. I think he's wrote 3 Christian books. So they've been on, and we've had great conversations. So so he's not afraid to have that conversation with me, and I love that. One of the most recent things, and actually, I can't remember who told me about it. So I went to his website and pulled up the service, because all the churches have all their sermons now available online. So I went and watched the tail end of the service, and he used me essentially as a prop for his altar call, and he was talking about, my brother, most of you guys know my brother, Austin, and he's now turned his back on God, and, who would I be as a lead pastor to not be reaching out to him, and, so on and so forth. Kind of used me as a, we should be going after these sinners. We should be going after these, lost children, so of course. So there's still some very interesting dynamics and unique dynamics to our family and how we interact and everything. Sometimes it's weird, because they don't understand how I got to where I'm at, because they won't really sit down and use critical thinking. So it's hard for them. And it's frustrating for me to have conversations, not with my brother, but some of the other ones, because it's like, all I'm asking you to do is listen. You don't have to believe the way I believe. You don't have to, or not believe the way I don't believe. But just listen to me. Don't just throw me out. And throw my my view of it out because you don't agree.
Do you also find yourself on opposite sides whenever it comes to things like politics?
Now more so than ever. Absolutely. It's amazing how many things change when you take religion out of your out of your scope. That's not part of your lens anymore, and that you see people for people and not a belief, and you don't tie your convictions and your ideas of morality and what's good and what's bad through religion. All of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I've been wrong for this long, and I have to now reassess and apply a new perspective without all the the word you used, or the static of religion, and now that I have clarity and make a pure judgment just based upon the human and not the religion.
Interesting. And what I can just imagine having because with politics and religion, where I was trying to go was I was trying to get to, are they Christians and also right wing? Did they go further right wing? Are they left wing? How did that apply to you? I find that not only it seems like all my Christian friends also went far right, but not all of them. Not every Christian. There are groups of Christians out there who absolutely disagree with Trump and all that and the whole right wing stuff. So how does your family fall on that compared to you?
I won't say, to be fair, I won't say they're extreme right, where it's like, Trump or bust. They're not, right. they're definitely not, they're definitely not of that, that opinion, but for the most part, they are very, conservative Republican, I guess philosophy, in the way they vote and their,
of course, traditional family values kind of.
yeah, and even political and societal issues, they take that stance. For me, and this is where some of the areas, just like with religion, we have very different outlooks on it. But I actually consider myself now a constitutionalist. I just want what's best for the human. I don't want to talk about all the politics, and I want what's best for the human. What's going to keep the human happy, healthy, respected. Everybody gets equality. Everybody gets a fair shake. That's all I'm worried about. Everybody else can argue about all the other shit. I just want to know that the human being is being taken care of, and that they're safe, they're happy, and they're healthy.
I have a question for you here from the chat from Grumpy Old Dude. His question is, do you have any racial beliefs, or were there any racial-esque beliefs in your former religion? Some religions have stark racial lines. What about yours? You were just evangelical. They don't care as long as you give money.
Exactly. Yeah. No, none whatsoever. I actually, growing up, my dad's best friend, and we call him Uncle. But he, I grew up with essentially an uncle or a godfather that is a black man. I was just hanging out with him yesterday, and he's a great guy. So I grew up with zero influence as far as prejudice or racial tension just because of the religion.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's many religions that don't have those issues. It's good that yours doesn't, or your ex-religion didn't have those problems. So now you're 3 years out of the religion. You're doing a podcast. You're moving further away. Is that causing? All right, before we go, I got another question before we go that way. We got your brother. We know your brother is the pastor and all this stuff, and your relationship with him. What about your parents, if they're still alive? Pardon me for prying, but how do they react? Because you said they were really into it to begin with as well.
Yeah. So my dad, my dad was an usher, in the church we grew up in. But respectfully, and I love you, Dad, because him and I, we're like best friends, have a great relationship. But he's never. I don't know that I've ever seen my dad actually pick up a Bible and read a Bible in 38 years. He's kind of just Christian by default. I would say that he's not going to pound you down with scriptures, and if a conversation came up in public, he would be the last one to have an opinion or say anything. So he's actually entertained by me, if I can be honest. My personality, and there's part of my personality that I kind of bring in on camera because I don't want to push people away. But I can be pretty loud and outlandish, and I have a big old personality, and he loves it. Like he gets a kick out of it. So him and I are cool. My mom, on the other hand, we went up until just a few weeks ago. We went months, actually almost a year at one point, and then several months after that without speaking, because there was two conversations, one in particular that she told me that because I was an atheist, that that I lacked a belief in God, that I was a terrible father, a terrible husband, human man. And I told her, I said, until you're ready to have an actual grown-up conversation about this, where we can be civil and not, try to take shots at each other and disrespect each other, please don't call me, text me, anything until you're ready to talk like adults. And finally, we're getting to that point now where we're starting to, build that bridge again and kind of amend that relationship. But I'm big on drawing boundaries. And if you don't want to be respectful, I don't need you in my life. And I really don't. It doesn't really matter to me who you are, what relationship you are to me. I will do everything I can to be the healthiest that I can be, the happiest I can be. And if you don't want to contribute to the health and the happiness, I do not need you in my life.
Absolutely. That's good that you do that, because there's so many, it's hard. It was bad enough when it was just religion, and nowadays we take politics and add to the politics to the thing, and it just makes it that much harder to keep from fracturing your family if you don't all have the same or similar religious/political beliefs. And it just seems to get worse and worse and worse. Me and my twin brother, I have a twin brother. I went out of my way to play this video game called World of Warships so I could play with him because I thought he played it a lot. So we're sitting there playing, and I join his squad, and we get the headsets, and we're talking on TeamSpeak or Roger Wilco or something. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, this is cool. I'm getting to play with my twin brother, and it's all fun. And him and his buddies would sit there and rant and rail about the liberals and how stupid they were. And they would just spout all this ignorant crap. And one day I went off on him. He's talking about healthcare and something. And I just remember going, the reason why you're not getting the healthcare is because your governor stupidly refused the money that was offered. And I just laid into him. And of course, he rage quitted out of the thing, and we've hardly spoken since then. There's been a couple of times we've spoken, but he, twin brother.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's what, Chris, it's, because I have people ask me all the time, Austin, how do I start, or how do I have this conversation with my family without it getting ugly, without it getting, because, it is tough, man. It's tough. And what I tell people is if you don't think it's going to be productive, if you don't think that it's going to be, a good, friendly, healthy conversation, and it's people you care about, that you really truly care about, don't do it. Don't start that conversation. Yeah. Now, if they want to bring it up and they want to introduce that conversation, let them do it. But don't be the one that creates it, and then you have to worry about being the one to put the fire out. Let them bring that up, but don't do it just so you can have a religious or a political war. That's not healthy.
Right. Well, I've kind of in my case, I've set my grounds. I try to every now and then send them messages and stuff like that. I don't want to be that way. It's just I'll try to foster that. In your case, though, it's kind of worse because your brother is actually a minister. Well, at least it's not worse. You guys get along and speak to each other. I don't really speak with mine hardly at all, but it just seems like the divide between you two seems to be really great.
Yeah, it's unique. It's unique, and I actually think about his and I's relationship probably on a daily basis, at least not every couple of days, because I am grateful that him and I, through all this, can maintain our not just our brotherhood, but our friendship. We're friends. We talk about life and all that. But I would be 100% dishonest if I didn't say there are times where it's tough, and it gets you can feel the tension. I can tell when he wants to bite, and he knows when I want.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why I did it. They just kept telling me to do it. So voices in my head kept telling me to mute you. So I muted you. I'm sorry.
Pasta must be in the comment section. Somebody.
Pasta. There's been several people. I don't know what it is. Several people have told me to mute you, so I muted you there. I couldn't. It was on purpose, Kristen.
Pasta started it. Pasta started something.
It's obviously something they're bringing over from their channel. Some in joke they have. Well, they seem to enjoy it. I don't know if Oz enjoys it or not.
I'm used to it.
Tell us, Oz, do you enjoy it? I couldn't help myself. Thank you to Ian Davenport for the $10 sticker of the Australian $10 for support to the channel. Thank you, Ian. That's wonderful. We appreciate that. I couldn't help myself.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Chris, I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah. Well, and in the chat, Kristen, best name ever, says, sorry, that's like a trigger response in me. And I get it. And the reason why is, the tech gremlins tend to get my channel, and occasionally everything will work smooth, but there's a lot going on in the background, and occasionally things get out of hand and tech gremlins, and I'll have my mouth. Can't hear nothing because I got, and Kristen is so used to going, oh, your mic is me. So whenever I first cut you off, she flew into action.
No, that's a great mod.
I totally. Oh yeah, no, she's awesome. There's sometimes I'll build new scenes or I'll change some things up and I'll forget to add the sound to the other scene. Like one time I made a scene to where whenever the guest host and a guest were here, I could put just you two up, the guest and the guest host, and I could go get a cup of coffee. So I did that. Boom. And I'm like over there getting a cup of coffee and I'm drinking it and I'm coming back and I sit down, I'm thinking everything. And I look over in the chat. They ain't got no sound. I forgot to add the sound. So that whole time they've been crying out for sound. So it happens. I guess Pasta Mike does most of your running of your channel, doesn't he? Or who does the tech over there?
Yeah, Pasta's the director, and then Steve and Jeff help with some of the production stuff. But Pasta's he's the one that tries to make us look sexy. I don't know how sexy we look, but he tries.
So there you go. There you go. Well, thank you to Pasta Mike for the $20 of support to the channel. He says, I want to show some love since you have my partner Oz on and you're allowing him a platform. Tart is multifaceted and isn't for everyone. So I certainly don't want to turn the damn show fans away for things affiliated with us. No. I think we're good. Totally. Everybody understands. And Epileptic Skeptic is full of love. Don't worry about her. She loves everybody. So she'll get on there and she's like, no, I hate them. I want them to die. And I'm like, oh.
Wow.
Well, but up until this point, I want to say she's a sweetie. Don't worry. She's sweet. She understands. And part of the deal is she didn't know what was going on, that it was just, you know, as far as she knew is the way things were. And this is a new addition to the show. And you know, I could see that happening maybe so I have Carl call in. I'd stroke out on a regular basis. Anyway, so thank you for that, Pasta Mike. No, it's wonderful. You guys are all wonderful. Ian's $10. Did I miss Ian's $10? I thought I did catch Ian. Did I not catch? I did catch Ian Davenport's $10 of support. I did. So hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I love you a long time. So, okay. So she still loves the show. No, she's not negative. She's awesome. She's awesome. Yes. And a Casa Mufasa. They're all wonderful. So what does it take to put together one of your shows? So Pasta Mike runs it. Can you give me, I know my wife doesn't particularly care for tech talk, but just, can you give us a quick rundown? Cause I got a couple more religious questions to ask you about your former faith, but I just want a quick, how's that work over there with you guys?
To be honest, Chris, I'm just the face and the voice.
You don't know how the magic happens.
I'm not when it comes to produce. And this is why I need. That's why I need the guys. I'm not. I'm a business guy, and I can help as far as the actual microphones and stuff because I owned a recording studio for 4 years. But other than that, those guys are genius. They're brilliant, and I'm not even going to sit here and try to pretend that I know the work or the time that they put into it. That'd be doing them a complete disservice. So, but I know they work hard. I know they put a lot of time into it. So
understood. Well, real quick, I want to say there's somebody on Facebook. I'm learning to engage with the Facebook people. Butch Donier, I'm not saying that right, brother. I ain't saying that right. I'm sorry. Says, shout out to my friend in Dallas, Texas, to Miss Bella Fritz. So Bella Fritz, Butch says hi. I'm yes.
What's up?
Thank Dragons and Genesis has thank you for the $4.99 worth of support to the channel. He wants to know, how many hats do you own, Oz?
10. They're up on my wall.
No, you can use more than your fingers.
No, they're up on my wall. I'm counting.
Oh, just 10. Okay, just checking. 10. So 10 hats. That's a good question. How and when? This is a question from Best Name Ever. How, when, why did the hosts of Tart get on TikTok? Yeah. Tell us about your thing with TikTok. I'm not on it at all. I haven't even been threatening to. I'm scared. Tell me about TikTok.
I don't even remember what prompted me to even download the app. I have to be honest, I don't remember. But at that stage, I was kind of a year or so, maybe a little more than that, into leaving religion. Was also going through a really nasty divorce, and at that time, I was kind of looking for some things just to make me laugh. And lo and behold, I find Pasta Mike. And I believe it was called Mike's Ministry on TikTok. It was full satire, atheist satire. And I found him, and I was one of his first followers on TikTok. And almost every night I'd come home from work, I would go out on my patio. I live downtown in the city I live in now. have a cigarette, have a drink, and first thing I'd do is go to TikTok, pull up his page, because I knew if he had loaded some videos that I would get a good laugh. And at that stage of my life, I just wanted laughter and happiness and all that. So through that, him and I met, and then we started talking. Then we started talking on Skype. Then we met. I think Jeff was the next person we met, and then Steve, Jesus Mike, and then some others. And that's how it all started to come together, because then all of us started getting on Skype calls. Before YouTube was ever a mention, we were getting on these Skype calls, and we would record that and do little bits, whether it was comedy or doing, our, form of street epistemology on video, and just starting to practice and lay the groundwork of that. And then the more we did it and the more practice we got, and the more we started to gel as friends, but also personalities, I think it all just kind of clicked. It was like, guys, we probably have something here. We probably have something that will have appeal. So then we started putting together, and it's funny, just last week or 2 weeks ago, I was going back on YouTube through our first few live feeds, and they're hysterical now. They're hysterical going back, as far as quality and how the pace of the show and everything. So, we started on TikTok doing little 59-second videos. And just for those that if you go find us now, just know that we treat TikTok as our WWF Vince McMahon promotional platform. What you see there is highly satirical and meant to be comical. That is not who we are.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just haven't done anything at all with the TikTok. I've got too much on my plate right now, so just trying to get it all down. But that's interesting that's where you guys came from. Yep. And so you guys have Christians on the show, and you engage them. Now you try to engage them in a pleasant, interviewee fashion. And the reason why I ask is because would it be an appropriate place to which you would want Ranty Chris possibly popping in and engaging one of your Christians or something like that? Or is that not something you would want?
No. Listen, there's a time and a place for everything, so depending on the guest is really going to, determine what style we take in our approach. So if we have somebody that comes in, they're a theist, we're still going to be respectful. But if they're bullheaded and it's just like they're not listening, sometimes you kind of have to turn up the volume or get ranty, as you would say. And there's no problem with that as long as we're still respecting the person, the individual. But as long as we can get ranty or go wild on the belief or the faith, I'm all about that, as long as we're respecting the human.
Gotcha. Because Ranty Chris does tend to come out, especially when we're dealing with like woo peddlers or something like that. If you've got a woo peddler on your show and you want to, and now I'm not saying I'll be disrespectful, but I can't guarantee I won't. Pasta Mike. I see Pasta Mike has popped into the thing here. I don't know what's called Pasta Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to just say, Carl has gone back in his cage. So, Ranty Chris would be great as far as I honestly think that you're hilarious. I think you got probably a ton of satire in you. I've watched some of your older videos. I think there'd be a massive collaboration there. Maybe not so much if we have a genuine theist on there, because they already tell me I can't do that. They tell me, me I can't come out and ruin that, but I do have the urge sometimes to be satirical with people that have odd beliefs. However, I think that you would be great on the platform as doing your Billy Whittlestick.
Wild Bill Wigglestick. Yeah, I guess I could do. I hadn't thought about doing that kind of. Yeah, I'd be willing to call in as Wild Bill Wigglestick. I ain't scared. I could be. Best name ever suggests the Father Flanagan. Have you ever heard about Father Flanagan? Have you heard that, Pastor Mike?
No, go ahead. Let me see.
I don't actually have it. I'd have to find the recording. It's a recording I made. It's a spoof commercial, and it's just audio, and it's Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys coming to a Walmart near you.
Oh God,
that's great. Yeah, that stuff is awesome.
Yeah, so maybe that was that. I might visit with you guys and see if you got some room for some of that over there. It doesn't really fit with the morning show. And, the Wild Bill Wigglestick, I've actually done that. The wife loves it whenever I do Shakespeare with my Texas accent. She thinks it's hilarious. All this time she's tried to get me to do it. So finally I did the prologue to Romeo and Juliet with a Shakespeare accent or with a Western accent. I did it as Wild Bill Wigglestick. That's probably what you saw. It may be great. It may not be great. I don't know. But it just doesn't fit this channel. Yeah, it's great. It just doesn't fit this channel. See, it's not morning show-esque kind of stuff.
With all due
maybe
respect,
it is, and I don't know.
With all due respect to your fans, though, I actually like to watch your show. It's a different vibe. So I usually get off doing my paperwork in the morning, 9 o'clock. I'll switch your show, and it's kind of a different vibe from what we do. So in fairness, I'm with them. So I actually respect what they're saying. Don't change what you're doing. Your morning show rocks, and there's a reason why it rocks. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I enjoy the guests. That was the deal. I've talked about having call-ins. This is a great kind of call-in. You're not on the screen. You're just like a call-in.
Oh, so I can put my shirt back on. I can put my shirt back on then. Okay.
You could, but why? Is that a sweater? You should shave that. I'm just saying.
Man.
The pastor joke. I'm not sure about the pastor joke. Is there a pastor joke? Refresh my memory. Somebody mentioned in the chat. Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Pasta Mike, for sharing that with me. I enjoy the show too. I like changing it up every now and then and getting the graphics a little different. I'm going to do it again too this week. I'm going to change up the graphics again. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I may just frame it out and make it look better, more professional. But yeah, but I do want to come on your guys' show and have some fun. It just never dawned on me to come on as a character like Wild Bill Wigglestick or something like that. I always thought I'd just come on as the nutbag I am.
Man, I'd like
Ranty Chris just point at somebody in the screen.
I'd record some stuff with you, man. I think you got a comedy bone.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. I'd love to do some comedy. That's my whole bag. I wanted the Daily Atheist Morning Show to be a lighthearted, fun thing. Somebody talked about the all caps Bible. I have the all caps Bible. I could play it. You guys wouldn't be able to see it here, but I could play it for the show, for the people real quick here at the end of the show. If you're not familiar, I'm going to play a commercial. Do you guys mind?
Go ahead.
Here we go. I'm going to play a commercial. You can't stop me. No power in the universe can stop me. Do you love Jesus? Do you love America? Do you love yelling at strangers? If you answered yes, then there is a new version of the good book for you. The All Caps Bible. The All Caps Bible has everything from the sacred text you would expect. God creates the world in 6 days. Noah saves bunnies from the great flood. Jesus preaches God's message in the Sermon on the Mount. However, the All Caps Bible levels up the message by putting everything in all caps. That's right, you don't have to go to church to hear God's message yelled at you. This Bible will yell at you while you're reading it. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Christians love the All Caps Bible. Here are a few reviews. Mason in Dallas, Texas says, I don't feel guilty anymore yelling at the Starbucks barista. Karen in Oklahoma says, Jesus' message of forgiveness is better when you yell it. And Tommy in South Bend says, who knew the little drummer boy was such a jerk? Buy the All Caps Bible right now and get a loudspeaker so you too can spread the good news. You get everything for a low, low cost of $89.99.
Are you promoting in Chris's thing? I'm like, no, I'm just watching the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, I enjoy
Thank
the
you.
show,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let me ask, we're back from the commercial real quick. Let me ask everybody that work, everybody heard it? You enjoyed it? Thank you. That was me and Andy Hall, who's my co-host on Tuesdays from Laughing in Disbelief over at Pathos. His links are down below too. So that's something else I'm going to be adding. I'm going to be adding more little commercials like that and then actual promotional commercials. I was just talking to Mike and Oz about them actually making a commercial or two for me, and then we'll just bring them over. I'm going to put you up since you're here. Uh-oh, bad Chris. I'm a bad man. I screwed it up. But if y'all want to do commercials, then they'll do there we go. And now, there. Ta-da! Sorry. But you're not Cynthia McDonald. The resemblance is amazing. Anyway, so let me do this. That's classy. I did that right in front of God and everybody. Okay, so you were just talking about how awesome and skilled I was at the tech part. So much for that.
What happened
was, what's that?
I said what happened was.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. So again, I want to say the commercials. I'm going to start running these kind of commercials. All right, guys, it has been the hour. I'm going to say thanks to Austin Mills. Man, do you want to take a moment, Austin? Tell us again about that show you've got coming up tonight. Promote it. If you've got a link, I think you're both have wrenches, so you're welcome to shill stuff out. If you don't, you should have. I'll give you a wrench and you can drop a link.
Okay. Yep. So I'll say it and I'll post a link here when I'm done. But tonight, go to YouTube or Facebook, the Atheist Round Table at 9 p.m.
Atheist Round Table. Sorry, Austin.
That one. That place. You want to go there. And tonight, starting at 9, we're going to have a 20 or 30 minute pre-recorded video interviewing Mark. It'll be Mark and Pasta on there. And then at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go live with Mark of Legend, and he claims to be the second coming of the Messiah of Jesus Christ, also the 8th reincarnation of Buddha, all tied in one. Mark's a great guy. We're excited to have him on. So you want to watch and listen and be a part of that tonight. It's going to be awesome.
By the way, that's the incarnate of Buddha. He's claiming to be the 8th incarnate, which is a whole different thing. But anyway, yeah,
whole different brand of crazy. But you know, you say he's the nice guy, so it's that's one of the things about it now. There's lots of nice guys out there, and they're, I guess, crazy. We all got our nutbaggery, you know. Yeah, so I'll have to check it out and see what goes on with him. So thank you again, Pasta Mike. Thank Carl for the call in. I appreciate that. Thank you to everybody. We're learning. You know, this is my first year doing a live stream on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. We're 8 months into it. This is what we've got so far. We learn as we go. So thank you for your patience and thank you for joining the show. Thanks to the Damnation over in the chat. You guys are wonderful. Thanks to all the people on Facebook who watch every day. Of course, my video gets demonetized and I have to hit manual review and a YouTube employee has to go back and watch the show. Good morning to you, YouTube employee. I hope you have a great day. Everybody, thank you. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, the Blazing Wizard Pope, Ian Davenport, Cindy Plaza, and tons of mice. Thank you and have a great day.